I chipped a little part of my tooth kissing my girlfriend last night, Raph. Not even in an aggressive way. It just a little stumble, little poop. Got hit during kiss. Chipped the front tooth, proving fighting not always easier when romance is involved. Cage or not, the romance level can really get in those. I'm just not ready for MMA, I guess is my point, or Jiu-Jitsu really, or anything where balls fly at my face, to quote Amber from Clueless. Which means it's time for Verbal Tap. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, of course, Raph Esparza. Raph, is Ronda Rousey's Shark Week debut on your DVR? Is it on live right now? Like, where is it on your pantheon of I will get to this or I won't?
Well, hold on. First of all, shut up. No, there was something I was told right now as you were speaking, which is you chipped part of your tooth. So this is new information to me.
Small piece on the front left.
Like, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Is it a permanent thing? Do you need to get a mouth guard just to walk around now? I don't know what's happening.
I'll get it fixed professionally by a dentist this week.
Okay.
I hope.
I'm just concerned, Kevin. You did not share this information. You know, normally we might kind of converse and say, here's what we're looking to talk about, or here's this. We had a list of UFC fights and Jiu-Jitsu in the park. Don't surprise me with that information. I feel very bad for you.
I'm fine. In the grand scheme of things that can happen to your face, you know, just having a small chipped tooth due to passion, Raph, due to love, due to warmth. No, don't feel sorry for me, everyone. I could see the pain in your eyes, and you're thinking, hold on, I'm sorry, I'm clipping completely into my cult podcast I'm going to start later this year. Let's get back to other stuff. I'm fine.
Okay. Well, now that I know that, I'm going to answer your question, but I also need you to take a look at the clip that I just sent over your way from today's UFC. So you handle that, I handle what I'm handling, which is Ronda Rousey really going to appear on Shark Week? Apparently. You were in the process of watching a little bit of it. I am not.
God, that looks terrible. I don't like any part of what you just sent me.
Are you talking about the world's most terrifying triangle choke from one Manny Bermudez?
Yes, I am. Because first of all, he just punched him as hard as he effing could. And then immediately he started to put pressure and work that choke. And he looks like he doesn't have enough, like he's using some technique, obviously, but mostly brute force and anger. Oh. Yeah. That's not gonna feel good tomorrow.
There's a thing that's very interesting where that person lies dead still,
just
like they're in a coffin.
Yeah, and I get it. He just sent me a lovely clip of Manny Bermudez fighting at the UFC fight night that definitely happened that you didn't imagine or go crazy and miss to the audience.
To be fair, it does look like hashtag UFC humbug. So if you get past that, it's UFC Hamburg. So that happened.
That was
there
Fight
was also,
Pass. That was
no.
Manny
This
Bermudez?
was actually.
Did it make it on the card?
That I believe. I don't know if it was Fight Pass. For most of it, it seemed like it was on Fox Sports 1. Yeah. So I was streaming it as we were in between traveling today, and what I could see was a very fun event. What was not fun, though, was Kevin breaking the news about one Shogun. So, Kev, can you just kind of tell the people what your text was to me to inform me of how the result of that fight was?
I'm scrolling up to get the... Oh, God. It just says, begin text. You know you're excited to hear what that text is? Just give me 1 minute to tell you about not just our friends, our best friends, the people that are keeping the lights on, the Verbal Tap pirate ship floating. First, the people that keep us all secure underneath the gi, underneath the rash guards, underneath your super tight spats, 10th planeters. That is North-South Jiu-Jitsu. NorthSouthJiu-Jitsu.com. Premier athletic underwear. It's just great. And I love their spats. They look so cool. I'm just like a grappling ninja. I also have to tell you about our friends at Proven Nutrition. I tried hot yoga. Everything left my body. So I put some core in it because what you put in your body matters. Everything you need before, during, after exercise core. You can even use it as a nice little snack. So after you've lost all those calories, sweating it out from, I guess, grappling or fighting or hot yoga, if you're really out of shape and challenging in class, go to Proven Nutrition, put Kevin 10 in, put Raf 10, get a discount, give our friends some love. Now back to our shenanigans. The best podcast internationally, domestically, and maybe in space. Eek. Shogun got fucked up. That's the end of it.
So it's interesting when you don't have any clue, because I was at Jiu-Jitsu at the park, and I was in the process of training and talking to people, and it's a brilliant event. But then you get news like this, and it feels like a family member's been personally injured when you read down that Shogun Hu has been how would you best put it, Kevin?
Fucked up.
Yeah, okay. That it was rough because that's the only information I had going into it, and I said, no, can't be that. Oh, and then I saw the footage, and it looked real bad.
After the stoppage, I just whispered to my very asleep dogs that he's got Bellator. That was not good.
Well,
long walk. They really it was like a retirement walk ceremony. It was just so long, the whole lead up, and maybe they had an inclination, but he got met with immediate barrages. He got under the face kicked, and no one's ever recovered from that. That's not something that you're like, oh,
we're talking like that's a quick in and out fight. First round, maybe 90 seconds into the whole proceedings. And the thing that made me feel, I think, the least good about the whole experience was watching Shogun after the ref calls it and he tries to get back to his feet, starting to stagger down as if he still doesn't know. And I said that thing where I go, oh, no, he's still trying to walk. No. So.
And bad news. Do you know who that triangle was done on?
I don't know, Kev. Who is it, John?
Friend of the podcast, Davey Grant. Who was on the receiving end of, the Bermudez Triangle is his nickname. Okay, it's all coming more together.
It's somewhere in the synapses somewhere. Here's where it's weird to me, though.
Spoiler alert to the Comatine interview coming up, but apparently Manny Bermudez really understands his marketing.
He does. And Kev, if I'm being so honest, when they showed the footage, I didn't know who Manny Bermudez was fighting inherently, but I saw on the UFC page as I was scrolling up, and you go, oh man, that guy looks dead. Oh,
he was just for a minute. No. He got up. He stopped shaking and got up.
And then I just go, is that Grant? Yeah, that's one of ours.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. So a very strange day for both friends and favorites of the podcast. But the whole event was a very strange one, Kev. I'm trying to remember. There was one fight in particular that I kept looking at this one guy who had excellent jiu-jitsu, was securing up at least two kind of anaconda chokes or changing it to darces, doesn't finish. It's a close fight. Guess what happens, Kev?
What?
He does not win the fight.
Oh, did he get hometowned?
I don't know that he got hometowned as much as you just watch the fight and you go, yeah, dude, I hate this, but that's why you got to finish the fight. Because his jiu-jitsu throughout the entire match looked solid. It looked like something that you kind of were, you were giving him props. You go, man, that was pretty good. I believe the fight was between Danny Roberts and David Zawanda. So if you guys get the chance to look at that, Marcin Tybura versus Stefan Struve was and Abu Azitar versus Vitor Miranda, pretty clear-cut decision on that side. Corey Anderson defeating Glover. Nothing too crazy there. There were a lot of people who were saying, sometimes you wish you could retire for the people, and I know that that's what they were saying for Mauricio Hua. So that's a bummer. Friend of the podcast as well, Kevin, Nick Hine, who also lost a match. So yeah, this is a rough one all around, my man. The one that we got to see, I think, as we were at the gym and transitioning, it was Nasser Hakparist, which is a name, I'm told, who defeated Mark Diakis. And somebody looked at me and they said, "Is that how you pronounce his name?" Like after I said it really confidently, and I go, "Don't take that from me.
This is not a place you want to just quote
This
me verbatim.
is don't take that as fact."
I'd trust but verify. That's what I'd do. I'd use the old trust but verify method.
So that's in a nutshell what we experienced here today.
Germany, more Germany fighters than I would have expected fighting in Germany, though. It seems a little. We've got to pick the fighters that won. Here they go.
Wow.
Nazat.
I don't
Nazat
know.
Hakparast. What is that?
I'm not sure how many Germans talk like that still.
Very few, I would assume.
Okay. I'm hoping so.
No one's boasting. No one's. I am not a German accenteur, though I am German, so you'd think it would have. My Oma was very. She was. It's a guttural language.
Yeah.
You know, I actually spent a week in Berlin, which I don't know why that applies here, but I saw a street fight in the subway, and hearing someone yell angrily in German, it's like, oh, that's terrifying. That is.
Yeah.
That's not pleasant. So.
And I'll say this too: on the Danny Roberts David Zwanda fight, that was supposed to be Alan Joban that was supposed to be fighting Danny Roberts, and that would have been a fun thing going on that side. There was also supposed to be Alexander Gustafsson fight, but that didn't happen either. So this was one that, they did the best they could.
Yeah. Well, are you ready to? Can I move on from this?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
The thing I want to talk about the most. Ronda Rousey went night day diving in a cave. Raph fed a bull shark, and my favorite part specifically, she was feeding it with her shark trainer. And in kind of true Ronda Rousey history fashion of how she selects her trainers, he is, full disclosure, missing a right hand because it had been previously bitten off by a bull shark. Now, I didn't hear the context, or I don't know the story, but I just enjoyed that it was like, she just was like, I trust you, we'll be down there. It's like, yeah, maybe she always does trust the trainer regardless of maybe sometimes their history. But she crushes it. She gets right in the water with them, just swimming with the sharks. Way more confident than Shaq. A lot less fear. And she's headed to, I guess, swim with a Mako, which is super all right. So that's it was fantastic. Travis Brown was there. He gave a masculine, not masculine speech about gender and relationship roles. He said, I'm here to protect my woman. Not that she needs protecting. We don't have roles like that. And I really enjoyed his openness. I was like, Travis Brown, hot on the mic. A lot of PDA between the two of them, even while shooting, which I thought was that's fine, I guess.
Pass.
I passed. That was my... Ultimately, strongly recommend you tune into the Shark Week Ronda Rousey episode. Great to see some of the flashbacks. And they did say something that was super funny, though. It was like talking about how fast a Mako is. Like, 500 feet in 10 seconds. It's like so... And they were like you, its speed is its advantage. It was like,
no.
Yes, I get it, because she's a fighter. And they did not stop they were like, Ronda wins round 1. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, God.
And there is so many fight puns that I really enjoyed.
Let's never do that again. And I want whoever wrote that joke to be fired immediately, so...
the writing for Shark Week has gotten so much better.
Bless you for watching that. So thank you for taking one for the team. Because I wasn't going to watch it, but I'm glad you did.
She got opening night, by the way, people. So for any, you got to love Ronda. Pro wrestler. Ronda Rousey.
Pro wrestler indeed. Hey, let's go to what else was going on. I alluded to this earlier. Went to Jiu-Jitsu in the park today. lot of fun. Got to meet a whole bunch of people. And, one of the nicest things they do at this event is they do a raffle, Kev. And it's headlined by our good friend G and Mark from MMA Fighting. Esther Lynn is there taking photos. The incomparable Esther Lynn, who's honestly, if you like fight photography and you don't know who she is, you need to immediately go look her up. So we're talking a lot of really good individuals who are there. But one of the nice things they do is they do a raffle. Kev, ask me if I want anything.
Oh, I hate doing this. This is for anyone who's not a storied listener of the podcast, and you should be 5 stars on iTunes.
Yeah.
Raph wins a lot of shit. Did you win some sort of signed gi that BJ Penn wore when he won the first Brasieros as an American?
No, I didn't. I did not win anything today, Kev.
Not even a hat? Not even a custom hat designed by a professional hat maker that happens to be a brown belt?
I'll tell you this right now. Any hat that ever fits me is not custom made. It's the leftover parts of other hats. So, no. I was severely disappointed that I did not win anything in the raffle. Did I only have one ticket? Yes. Should that be a disqualifier? No. I had one person when I go, yeah, I didn't win anything in the raffle. And I'm giving them mess, and they look at me and they go, well, how many tickets did you buy? And I go, statistically, that shouldn't matter. And they were like, well, why? I was like, well, we have people in jiu-jitsu who argue that flat earth is a thing. So if they're going to argue flat earth is a thing, I can believe whatever statistics I want to and how randomness works. So otherwise, very fun event. I will say one thing. If you go to these events, do me a solid. Please don't roll on the very hot parts of the mat, because the nice part is the sun moves, Kev. Unless I guess you're a flat earther, but whatever. Sun moves.
I am not, but I'll work on it.
And as the sun kind of changes a little bit of direction, shade does become a little bit more available in certain sections. But there are some sections for a little while, jiu-jitsu in the park, where you kind of go, I should not roll there. And I think I came up with a great idea. Okay. If there are very, very hot parts of the mat, don't let your children roll there. Don't let, yourself get caught there, but send the white belts to that part of the mat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's the best way to go about it. So to everybody who said hello to us, we had a lot of guys who stopped us and said, hey, we love the podcast. And I wanted to forward that your way, Kevin. So we got to interact with a whole bunch of our friends. And, that extended all the way from the folks over at Jiu-Jitsu Magazine were there. Acai Bowls were there. A lot of BJJ Inc. there, our good friend Jonathan Greek, who designed our custom-made gis. So a great community always shows up for that one. So I thought I would pass that on and let you know. That was some funness on my side, Kev.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing.
Hey, I forgot one last thing. If you guys want to see more events like that, those guys actually have a fundraiser still, and it's jujitsuinthepark.com. They're trying to make it so that they can have their own set of mats. And it's a really, honestly, they donate to charity. They do a whole bunch of really good things. So the more that they are able to afford and do their own mats, the more they can bring it to different communities around. They usually do it about 2-3 times a year. And G was telling me that they're obviously looking to do another one, but the more support you guys can give them, the more events that we end up seeing from them. So jujitsuinthepark.com.
JJP. Such a cool thing. I've been getting bit by the bug for the past few weeks. It's been difficult not to. So you see it in the parks. I also think for the hot mats, this is where we need an ice water bucket that's just for this. We just take a mop, dab it. It's get me the cold bucket. And I also ultimately, and this is going to transition, want a jiu-jitsu grappling themed water park. And I was inspired by the floating wrestling mat meme that you posted. Just whoever's doing that, great parenting. It's a beautiful, perfect size circle of the wrestling mat, the center, and some kids in life jackets wrestling each other off the lake, off the side. There are things Mortal Kombat got right. There are things these fighting sequences and games got correct that we as a hosting community have not gotten we just aren't thinking big enough. We haven't gotten a hold of the dreams that befall us. And one of them is a floating mat. Who doesn't want to see Gary versus a meow on a mat where if you get thrown off, you start back at the middle, but you lose a point? Like, there is some cool things that could happen here. Or let's just straight up do this badass style. Mat, no edges. You're 10 feet off the water. You get knocked off, you're off. You lose. That's the match. It's like the exact opposite of standing people up.
And people want to complain about, jiu-jitsu practitioners don't know how to wrestle and stand up. That's the opportunity you guys have. You now can take it and improve. And when people say, where'd you get better at it? You're going to be like, I have a secret. Okay. I'm not going to tell you. I'll just show you what it is. So there is that. All right. Kev, there was also another meme that I think we need to address, and I feel like this was something I posted, but I posted being in your brain. I said this is something that Kevin, if he saw it first, would have posted himself.
Dog in a purple belt,
yes,
rolling a crazy bar. Genuinely wanted to look up the gym, and there are questions I have, like, how'd the dog get his purple belt? I'm just curious. I'm not. This is not hating. I mean, I get it. Natural grappling instincts.
Well, hold on. Were you questioning the validity of his purple belt?
Certainly not. I just, I assume he trains a few times a week, has for several years.
He's got a family. He can't get out there all that often.
Yeah, he had a kid a few years ago. I mean, a litter of kids, but it's only raising one. There's a lot. Yeah, obviously. I'm not saying he doesn't have stuff going on in his life. I just wanted to hear what the story was. That was
absolutely. All right. So there's that side. Okay. Well, I think that's great. If you guys haven't had the chance, go check out that footage. My main question was, why was the dog higher ranked than the human? So I think that was an important question to try and figure out and get to the bottom of. So we got that going on, Kev.
Ortega got paid.
Yes,
so
thank God.
Everybody's just, the hits keep hitting. Dogs, kids. Your meme about Connor's selfies.
I'm just saying, if you see that man, he is not afraid to show it off. He's literally just looking at like, look at it. Look at it. Every one of them. So that's the ridiculousness that is Conor McGregor. Kev, I think, are we at that point where we're ready to transition over to John?
Yeah, let's go invite. There's so many known stories about the John Combs here in Colorado.
And here in Los Angeles.
It's just hard to pinpoint the excitement we feel. He's producing. He's making content. We can steal his game and defeat him together, Ref.
And Verbal Tab listeners, if you are so inclined, there may be a special thing that John Combs is going to announce when we talk to him. I mean, there is. We did that part of the interview first, so spoiler. But you probably want to listen toward the end of the interview to hear what it is he has to offer you guys.
Remember what the title of the show is, and don't be afraid to head on over to all the social medias. Follow us at Verbal Tab, Cast. Find us anywhere. Every little bit helps. If you're thinking, I'm just one person. Yeah, you're one person that helps with just a little recognition for all this free content. Raf's pumping out stuff. He's talking to Mr. Padilla before this. There is endless amounts of things you get from Verbal Tap. All that we ask for is, if you know one of the Arab sheiks, if you could get him to finance a big thing, or just support us. Just support us through those two things, and I think we're good. Let's go chat with some J Combs.
Let's do it.
Hitting record for as I wrote down at several, Ref, but I liked the Tom Cruise of Colorado Jiu-Jitsu as our guest.
You should.
But I'll let you do the intro.
No.
Everyone in Colorado knows who I'm talking about already.
You do the intro now, because I think you just won the guest over. So that's all you.
So, well, a longtime friend of the podcast, and you can find everything he's doing at John Combs BJJ. John COMBS BJJ.com. Get the Combatine which is just a rumor here in Colorado Jiu-Jitsu, but I heard it within 3 weeks of doing Jiu-Jitsu here, Raph. I heard about the coma. You hear about it from a friend, then he shows up like Shark Week in our lives, and he's there training. How are you doing this evening, Mr. Johnny Combs?
I'm doing great, Rob. Feeling good, and I've had a few weeks off from competition, so body's been feeling really good, and got another month till I compete again. So just chilling out in Colorado, having a really nice summer. How about you two guys?
I'm doing nothing. I'm just continuing to get more surgery. Raph, what have you been doing? Raph's training a lot, I guess.
Good.
As Kevin says, with much chagrin under his voice, I want to say this. The last time Johnny Combs and I were kind of in contact, I knew this DVD was coming out, or this instructional was coming out. And he was telling me that he wasn't going to be doing, I think, Worlds this year. So what was your excuse for not doing Worlds this year, sir?
Oh, I had it's kind of funny because, I just competed last in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And I had to actually head out to Minnesota for my oldest sister Emily's wedding. So that was on Saturday. And I had the points at the time. It would have been nice to do it, but, I had to, it was the first one of my family members to get married. So I, really had to go do that because I doubt Emily Combs is going to get married again. And there will be a Worlds in 2019. No matter how crazy things may go, there will be a Worlds in 2019.
There was thought.
That'll be at that one.
That's amazing.
There's nothing better than you hear Donald Trump might drink this country into the ground, but there's gotta be a Worlds whether you like it or not. So here's where I want to say, he obviously has Worlds, and then there was another point where, he and I kind of exchanged notes, and I congratulated you on something. What did I congratulate you on, sir?
Honestly, Ralph, I do not remember. What did you congratulate me on, sir?
You heard about his day.
What were you doing about? What were you doing at the end of June, John Combs?
I was competing at the end of June.
And where were you competing?
What else was I doing?
Yeah, you were competing.
I was competing in Minnesota.
Yes, you were.
I competed yes.
And what happened? You won, right?
Yeah, I landed a coma team.
You did, of course. Now, Kev, I told you about this, and I don't know that I've told the viewers or the audience members of this show, but I actually sent a nice note to one John Combs, and I said, hey, congrats, kid. Do you know what you sent me back?
Probably something weird. No, I do not remember, Ralph.
I'll tell you what it is. I said, congrats, kid. Your response was, I can't wait to show you my new mount attacks. Okay. Now, I really need people to understand here. I'm trying to be a good human being. I'm trying to follow along with the many friends and athletes that we know, so I don't have to go out of my way to congratulate them when they win. Because you know what? Enough people do that. But with Jonathan Combs over here, we have a good thing. He's come on the show. He's beaten both myself and Kevin up. I feel we've got a nice rapport. He values my opinion on occasion. So when I chime in and I say congratulations, and I mean it sincerely, and this motherfucker comes back at me and is like, yeah, I can't wait to fuck you up. It's like, well, okay. Let's chat about that, John.
Okay, so what I would... why I said that was because, I've trained with you a few times, and when I first trained with you, that armbar from mount worked really well on you, and then the next time we trained, my mount attacks didn't work on you. I got really frustrated and went after a toe hold. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do, and you know why?
He wrote in his diary about that. He's still pissed.
But you know why it's not supposed to matter to you? Because I'm not good at jiu-jitsu. So I don't think you should be obsessing over the fact of oh, dear diary, today Raph was way easy to get from mount. Next day, dear diary, what the fuck is this Raph up to? Is he roiding? Is he taking some steroids? Because it's not the same. And I remember telling you specifically, I was like, oh, yeah, I figured it out. The next day, I just go, I think I know what to do now. and you like just got more mad at me. And if you're a hobbyist and you have an athlete coming after you, all you do, Kevin, and I don't know if this is what you do when you roll with Jonathan Combs, but you just kind of like the kid that just starts screaming out like, ah, ah, and you're like, someone, adult, help me. Someone here.
Specifically, I tried to keep my neck away and ended up losing the back. Not an advised strategy from my perspective.
And if we're being honest, you know, Kevin's been a little injured, and we had two different recollections. So, John, what was it like rolling with Kevin? Were you going all out on Kevin?
No, I was going pretty easy with Kevin, right?
You were, I would say, yeah. But your easy is not a... I mean, this isn't a world. People are aware. They've seen you train at this point. That's why I think, to circle this around, the Comatine as a concept is super interesting to me, because you've taught it what I would imagine is a lot in private lessons and a lot in person. So it's going to be fascinating. But you're a gritty fighter, was going to be my point. So how do you bring that grit when you're teaching with people with various games?
That's a good question. I only really started working as an instructor at Easton Training Center, Boulder here, in about May of this year, actually. You know, I did a couple of years back, and it wasn't quite something I wanted to do at the time, and I just recently started teaching again. I mean, bringing that grit in, I don't know. I mean, I definitely, when I'm teaching people, I try to, you know, stay as focused as I can on the technique, and I don't know, I hadn't really thought of it from that perspective, but I mean, I don't know how grit into I'm a little confused by the question.
I'll say this. Okay, for example, like one of the things that you do, and this is technique based, but like anytime I would try and pass your specific open guard, which is pretty fun for both of us, I'd imagine, more so you.
Oh, I had a good time. Yeah,
you always put bone on shin. You're always like right there to add that pressure. Do you drop in those techniques while you're teaching as well? Is sort of a more specific example of what I mean.
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely a lot of, you know, I mean, when I'm teaching, it's just kind of trying to get people to go from one position of safety to the next. And definitely when I'm playing open guard, that's been a big part of the game, that shin-to-shin game, trying to enter into the ashigarami has been a big part of what I've been working on recently. So, yeah, I mean, what I do in competition is generally what I show. That the mount stuff that Raph brought up earlier, yeah, I've been showing people that type of technique. Because, you know, my professor Amal showed it to me right after my little fight to win pro in May. And so for the past, that's 7 weeks, I think. Yeah, for the past about 7 weeks, I've been working this mount stuff, and it's been really changed my game.
Just want to go ahead and remind people, I started a conversation with congratulations, young man. And that was where he chose to go. I'm saying, John, I value you as a friend. And you came back with a threat, which I've called the police.
I wouldn't say it's a threat at all. I said I wanted to show you it. Like,
that's some bullshit.
Step by step.
Oh, get out of here, Jonathan Combs. Listen, now we obviously want to talk with you about this instructional, but I will not do so under the pretense of lies under this house. So let's get to the topic of, your goddamn instructional. I want to ask, at what point did you start saying, all right, I think I want to do an instructional? Because obviously John Danaher's doing it to sell out. You got Craig Jones doing it because he's a flash in the pan. You know, he's not going to be around forever.
Guy just likes his face, too, that one. He really wants whatever you can put it on.
He's just like, oh, I'm an Aussie. Oh, me. So what's your
crikey, mate.
Oh, God. So why is it that you are doing an instructional, and like, was that something you always thought you would do?
Okay, so I'm working with two other people at the academy, Jordan Shipman and Ian Mitchell. And actually, Jordan Shipman, he's a blue belt at our gym, but he's spent a lot of time working for the former Flow Climbing organization, and he's done a lot of video internet products and design. And he worked for a company that worked with streaming companies, so he had a lot of experience in the online internet world. And he was talking to me one day, and I never really would have had the confidence to do something like this. And he brought it up with me, and I kind of told him that, I've been thinking about that, because I never spent much time as an instructor with jiu-jitsu. I've mainly been a competitor. I've been an active competitor since 2005 with high school wrestling. I've just been continuing from there, and I didn't really start to teach until very lightly about 2 years ago, and then only seriously here in Colorado since May. So I didn't really have the confidence. Somebody else had to come bring it up to me, and he, convinced me. And then the three of us together, we sat down, and it took us a couple months, but we realized that, we had something we could market, and I felt that I could teach pretty effectively to people. So, I think since we filmed it, actually, I think I've improved a lot of my, the different components that I have in with the guillotine. And I'm actually really looking forward to planning out the updates that we're going to do for this video series, because, unless everything goes this bombs out, we're definitely planning on doing a bunch more filming and trying to add as much content to the site as possible and keep a consistent push of content going into the future.
So we can learn the weaknesses and strengths, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But that's an enjoyable and extremely tedious process, taking something that you've crafted and then adding a curriculum to it. Because to me, it's a lot of, in terms of teaching, that's its own skill. How do you go about breaking that down? And we haven't really gotten this nerdy with someone that's recorded one of these, so it's sort of a fascinating. I just have a few.
Really?
And you did it downloaded and on-demand style, which I love. So I think that's super accessible and easy to get to. What was it like?
Well, that's...
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, it's just that, I'm working with two people that, have a lot of experience in this industry. So, while I know next to nothing about computers, I literally uploaded my first video to YouTube 2 days ago. And we're going to put a lot of free content up on YouTube too. So that's going to be something that's happening there. But, I'm very much a novice at that type of stuff, but I'm working with people that have been doing this for a living for, almost a decade. So, it's been good to have people that can help me with that technical side of it that really understand the industry.
How do you go about creating a concept you apply into a curriculum, a series?
So something very similar to what I was saying in the beginning, trying to find positions of safety where, you're going to go from this one area to the next spot, to one spot after that, the next spot. So like different steps in the technique. And then if at any point in that technique, I want people to fall back, if you're going for the guillotine, you lock your hands and then you try and wrap your leg up around your training partner, but then they manage to hop over your leg. From that point, you want to execute something where you get back to that original position where you're going to have your hands locked around the head. And then from there you re-engage. But when I'm actually making the curriculum itself is usually, for the guillotine, I watched a lot of tape on it. I tried to see what I was actually doing myself because there's stuff that I'd be doing in practice and in training that I didn't really understand, especially back in the Pan Am's 2016. That was, kind of an amazing run. And I didn't really understand quite what I was doing. And I tried to watch to adapt it from there. But it has taken, a couple of years of study to really try and interpret what I'm doing with my body. And then from there, trying to give that up to other people. And, probably the best way that I would say I do is I sit down and try and type it out and really consider what I feel the one area of safety that I, go from to the next step, and what's the most important transition in between those two. And probably one of the things that's helped me out the most, especially recently, is that Danaher DVD. He discusses how important solving the central problem of a position is. So I would say the comatine is special in that the central problem that it's solving is that there's a space that's created in an arm and guillotine, and it helps solve that central problem that it's harder to finish an arm and guillotine than it is with an arm out, and that's the problem I'm trying to solve. So having a central concept that you're trying to solve, and then the different steps to go around it, and how Danaher did it really changed how I, my perspective on how to teach that technique. So I'm looking forward to the updates I can put up there, because I think I've developed some better stuff since.
Are you also
examining his work?
You said that you're influenced by Danaher. Are you also taking into account adding extra unnecessary sound effects like birds chirping or car alarms going off or students getting out of class? Because I feel like if people are willing to pay $200 for an audio version of that with that included, do you feel that you're ripping off your fans by trying to have pristine sound and the ability to hear the instruction?
No, I say, well, and that's once again, I was working with really professional individuals that understood how to film, and I was very lucky to have those guys. And we were really fortunate to be able to put together really high production value and be a Lamal Easton and Mike Tusignot, two top guys at not Elliot Marshall too, the three top guys at Easton let us go in there and film over the weekend. So we were lucky to have the whole gym to ourselves, and we set up some really nice lighting and got it to look really good. But
no lie, I was
wasn't
actually
necessarily my involvement.
I'm just saying two things. Number one, there was a jiu-jitsu at the park here in California, and I happened to train with somebody from Easton today, and I thought that was pretty badass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, he was
awesome, man.
Very solid role, and by solid, I mean, no, thanks, though. It was very good, I guess is what I'm saying here. But
oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
I know you couldn't decipher
what
that.
was his name?
I think it's Justin. Purple belt of some sort. Very nice individual, but he was just like, I'm actually from Colorado. And I was like, isn't everybody? Which immediately gets into that conversation of like, yeah, my co-host lives out in Colorado. His name's Kevin. Yeah, you probably don't know him, but he's great. And then we're interviewing John Combs, and he's like, oh, my God, that guy. And I was like, don't get me started. So when that's the number one thing. The reason why I bring up the Danaher thing is because so many people get so accustomed to that audio being so awkward. When you saw the backlash to that and you knew that yours was coming out, was there a part of you that just got nervous? I'm not saying that they didn't record right, but that you're like, oh, people could be very mad about this. Oh, yikes. Okay.
Well, I mean, I didn't notice too much anger around it. I mean, it was a bit more, like, well, no, there was a huge uproar and he had to film it again. So, yeah, that kind of concerned me. But, to the extent upon which it relates to the coma team, I think it was pretty good because we took, serious steps to make sure that it was of high production quality. And I think it might be one of the best things out, well, maybe not the best, but one of the best looking things out there.
Kev, this is one of the few times that I feel like we should Family Feud be like, good answer. Right there. I mean, on a very serious topic, though. I mean, Danaher's DVD obviously has done well, and I know for years he was talking about, he didn't want to do it. He did want to do it. Now he did it, and so many people are doing that sort of a thing. But Danaher's not necessarily a competitor. Was there ever some apprehension? Because I was like, Johnny actually has a high degree of hitting people with guillotines. Was there ever any concern that you were giving away part of a thing that you do while being, like, you're still young. You're still an active competitor. Was that ever something that was of concern, or were you just like, this is just the year of guillotines. Next year, it's all Kimuras?
You mean, like, do I feel that I know some secret that I'm giving away that other people could profit off of?
No, I'm just saying, like, when you're an active competitor, there are some competitors who like to keep it close to the vest. So they don't want to give away part of their playbook while, you're out there still as somebody who's competing on the circuit actively. So was that ever something that crossed your mind or anything to that extent?
I wouldn't say so. I think plenty, I would say that I came to understanding the things that I show, a good majority of them. I came into my own understanding of them on the mat training live. But I don't think that there's anything that I do that's so special that if you gathered 100 black belts into a room, 5, 10, 15% of them wouldn't know the same thing. I've talked to other people and they have some of the same ideas that I do. And I don't think that I'm the only person that's ever come up with this, but I do feel that I teach it in a very good way. And that, that there's that heart of darkness in all of us in terms of wanting to keep our secrets to ourselves and feeling that, we as an individual can profit more off that than, in terms of that, not letting people find out makes us a more skilled fighter. And it is kind of true, honestly, that I do this thing and now the second anybody faces me, that information is going to be out there. But, like what happened with us in the Rico Coco DVD, sometimes that isn't enough to make the difference. So
oh, no.
I would honestly say that I feel much more excited to share what I feel I have to offer with people out there than I would say intimidated by exposing my secrets to people that seek to defeat me in the competition.
I just want to point out right now, listen, I'm really good at keeping things close to the vest myself, but I like John Combs being like, hey, Ralph, nice help on the Enrico Coco DVD. Wish it helped. Like, I was like, yo, dog, they don't know anything about that. But yes, when John Combs had a match against Enrico Coco, who's just a beast. Enrico had a match against our good friend Joey House. And the first thing I did was I was like, well, let's get the DVD. And, Joey had a great match with him. still ended up getting caught, but not by heel hook. So I was like, all right, we did a little good work there. So
Call it a win.
I'll just tell you this much. When Johnny was like, hey, man, yeah, I got this match against Enrico, I was like, please come see me. And he was just like, yeah. I was like, do me a solid. Just come hang out and train with us at the house. And we were just doing leg defense and leg there. And I would preface every sentence with, now, John, I know this is hard to remember, but I'm not a black belt. And specifically, I'm not Enrico Coco. However, here are some trends. And I have to say this. I was very pleased to know that after that match, because Enrico's one of the nicest human beings, I was seeing, at least on your feed, that you were training a lot more on the legs and the heel hook. So to me, that's more of somebody who I like as an athlete, who's like, all right, well, I got caught with that, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start working that a lot.
Absolutely. That's been a big range of my study. And it's funny, a lot of the stuff from the Danaher DVD works quite well in the kimono, as obviously outside of it. But it is, I've definitely been spending a lot of time studying that whole system that he used to beat me, because I walked into a bear trap against him. It was pretty beautiful.
The way he set it up was great, to be very blunt. But I will say this, Kev, it was pretty funny when, I was just kind of like, there's not really a way to shit talk back to people who are athletes other than, yeah, well, we'll see about that. Yeah, you might get mount. I mean, you probably will. And then we'll see how long it takes you to beat me. So take that. And then I just remembered,
good system.
I just remembered telling him, I was like, oh yeah, well, we'll see about your legs. And he's just like, have you been watching the Danaher DVD? And I go, I have. And he goes, how about the Craig Jones?
Yeah, that happened.
I'm not as up to date on that one, but I will be now. So
okay, good.
That was the extent of our conversation. Okay. So I like the fact that you're preparing all this material in addition to the stuff that's coming out. So what's the nuts and bolts of this? When does this DVD or instructional actually come out, man?
So right now we have 3 separate modules available on the website. Unfortunately, we only have 1 uploaded. A week from tomorrow, we'll have 2 up, and then a week after that, we'll have module 3 up. And we might in the future offer them individually, but right now it's a package of all 3. Sure. And once you get the Comatine, all of them will be available for either viewing on the website or digital download.
That's great, dude. That's so awesome.
Yeah, we're really excited. Yeah.
And I've been messing around with it a little bit. I've just been watching it. And, one of the nice parts is I think people are so used to seeing you as the competitor. I've had the benefit of having you explain things and kind of make sense of what I'm doing, because sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. You're just like, oh, hey, are you trying this? And I'm like, am I? Oh, dope. Okay, cool. Thanks for explaining that to me. So I think it's a real nice thing to see you as an instructor and to start sharing that. Kev, what questions do you have in terms of the content? Because Kevin hasn't had the chance to see it yet. But
yeah, we can take care of that.
Yeah, but I'll throw in a few things real quick. First of all, the website is exquisite. I am on johncombsbjj.com, where you can click Get the Comatine. Still love the effing name. That part. It's like good marketing is like 50% in America just is the name cool, and I think that it works. $59, add to cart, download. Part 1 out now, parts 2 and 3 coming, but massive compliments on the website. What was the hardest? Okay, here's the question I had just noted, because I've taught public speaking. I've done different video projects, and there's always a part where you want to see it before it goes out, right? Where you'd say, hey, let's look at it. Was that difficult for you? Was that a cringeworthy? Were there a lot of things you were like, damn it? Or was it pretty comfortable? Were you like, no, this is good. Like, give me your feedback in the reviewing process.
The reviewing process was tough. It was a bit of a slow process going, man, because we had a lot of, I think it's about 2.5 hours that's available through all the DVDs. I think it's a little over 2 hours. But we filmed, 8 hours one day and then 12 the next. So we put in a lot of hours, and there's a lot of content there. So it took a while to comb through all of it and, find the parts and bits of it that we really liked.
Did you just pun yourself?
5 tapes.
Yes.
Thanks, Raph.
Okay. I just listen. You kind of barreled through it as if it didn't exist, and I felt we needed to address that as a group.
I want to see the director's cut. Like I want to see the Titanic version of this. It's like we have 12 hours of it. You can see it all. It's got a real good and bad, the ugly feel to it, but it's emotional. It's a journey.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say the hardest part was the second day. Like you, I mean, you asked Kev, like, when was that one moment of greatest resistance, right?
Yeah, I hate watching myself. Anytime, for example, when I did live commentary at an event, listening to it after, it's just like, why do I talk like an asshole? Can someone please? Like, it's just a moment of pure self-reflection. So especially you seem like more of someone that has that perfectionist type vibe. And this is a new form.
Absolutely.
And you're obviously working with professionals, but ultimately you're still Brave Yourself, the on-screen talent.
Yeah.
That's your role. So to me, that's always, I was just curious if you watched and you were like, no, I look good, feel good. Abs are nice. I'm tucked in. Or if it was like, that was a terrible way to explain the Comatine.
Yeah. I mean, so the different takes, there were some takes where I thought I did a decent job, and there were others where, a lot of stuttering, a lot of like awkward pauses, a lot of, it was a pretty emotional ride, Rob. So there were some pretty tough parts in it. I mean, it took a lot to sit down there. And then as I said, I shot this in October of 2017, and I hadn't done too terribly much instruction by that point. So, I was pulling a lot out, with not a whole lot of experience, but having spent a lot of time outlining it and talking with other people and really trying to make sure I provided as high quality instructional product as possible.
Now, Kevin brought up what I believe is the jumping off point for a really good conversational point that I had, which is the moment you introduce the blue belt, who's your uke in this, you're essentially introducing him with the, I guess, not mindset, but what looked to me as the, everybody say hello. This is my blue belt. He's a very, very solid blue belt who I'm going to kill. And he's not going to be able to choke or swallow because we're doing this for about 8 hours a day, and he's going to hate me on the inside. Anyway, let's look at the finer details of the grip.
Oh, man. Yeah, the blue belt, David Carr, she's actually had a pretty incredible story himself. He actually, he's 35, and he had a heart attack about 9 months ago. So, he's had some rough days. He's been, conditioned to receive the Comatine, I guess you could say. And it was a rough day for him.
John. Of all people you can pick, you're like, well, bring me to the guy who's clearly had a rough few days. Heart attack? Bring on down.
I got the treatment for you, brother.
No shit. Because, again, Kev, this all makes sense because I guess we brought this up a little bit earlier, so I'm going to bring it up one more time, which is the fact that as Kevin and I were exchanging notes, I was like, all right, and I had specific instructions to one John Combs, and I said, listen, when you first appeared on our show and you said you don't roll light, that's fine with me. However, you're about to roll with Kevin, okay? And we're working to get Kevin back. So if you could do me a solid and not murder, death, kill Kev, but just, okay, I know you said you didn't, but I want you to understand the level between athlete.
Did you bow and arrow choke me with severe aggression during a first warm-up roll? I don't know. I don't remember because I blacked out somewhere in there. I just
because Kevin
I learned that choke that week, and I needed to show it to you, bro.
Well,
thanks. Mission accomplished, because here's what happened. This is the part you don't know. Kevin and I exchanged notes, and I go, Kev, how was John Combs? And Kev, without hesitating, goes, Raph, on his very first appearance, he was not lying with us when he said there was no flow roll to him.
There's
However,
not a lot of loose warm up. Constantly kind of.
If I am being honest, Raph, he did tone it down as a gentleman. For me.
I thought you did. I thought you were super nice. I could just feel the. I did say I gave positive feedback. Not to
there was positive feedback, but there was an honest. Well, Raph, do you want the truth? Yeah, I do. it's a rough day for me, but he tried. He tried to taper it down because you can only do so much with a beast. So it's just important that I think the listeners know that, because here's the thing. When you have a DVD and you have the ability to learn those things that allow you to do the really cool shit when you're in advantageous positions. Because here's the thing. The part of the struggle when I roll with you is, other people are like, oh, it's hard to do this. And I'm like, yeah, John Combs is complaining. But in order to finish me, he has to do a series of really, really successful things in a good systematic way. And he can cut through me. So to me, I'm like, well, I would want to learn what that is. So tell me more about those things. As annoying as they are to have happen to me, I can appreciate what it is when I see it happening to others. Maybe not Kevin, but to other people. So, I mean, have you gotten some feedback? Because I know it's just starting to come out now, but you've had some people kind of look at it. So when Kevin was talking about the process of looking it over and saying, oh, shit, this is what it looks like, what has been some of the feedback that you've received?
People like it in general. They like the video production quality is pretty obvious. In terms of feedback, people would like to see me using it in competition. There were some requests for different angle changes on there. As for the technique itself, I honestly haven't gotten too much feedback other than it looks good, which, is a good thing. But, it would be nice to get some more critiques from other people. But, in general, it's people have received it positively. They say it looks good and, I sound good. So those have been the results there. But I haven't had too many critiques on the technical side of it. But, yeah, by and large, people seem to have enjoyed it.
That's good. I also am convinced somewhere a scene exists where it's like hour 8. He's trying to teach something. He slips. Jordan Shipman yells. He's like, damn it, John, we're running out of space. And you two get into a gripping argument. It's like you confessing in a Daniel Day-Lewis like way, like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Scene. I assume it exists
that'd
somewhere.
Be great.
Can you
especially
confirm or deny how emotional some of these outtakes are?
Well, especially if he's just yelling out, "I've lost my boy."
It's gone.
Well, a lot more of the emotional outtakes were closer to the very beginning when I was trying to get into the zone. It took about an hour and a half till I started to flow with my voice a little bit, and then there were some hiccups here and there, but there probably is about almost 2 to 3 hours of me kind of, breathing hard, freaking out, giving some screams here and there, just trying to, you mess up a take, they're not going to take it. And you just kind of, do what you have to do to get yourself out of that funk and back into the zone again. And, it takes as many times as it's going to take. You just got to get it done. But yeah, there are plenty of really funny takes of me freaking out a little bit. So it's a hard thing to do, perform on camera.
No, get out. I like the idea of, I know as you create the new modules, I want to have the comedy reel module of you just losing your shit and saying things like, where's my latte, you bitches? I didn't come here to teach you guys a guillotine just so that I could feel good about myself. And you just splash water in people's faces. I mean, I know that footage exists. I've seen the rough
bit more Hollywood than I am.
Well, I mean, it all starts with the innocentness of one John Combs, but now...
Well, hold on. Maybe, have you guys seen the Winnebago Man? Do you remember that guy's rant?
Yes.
When
the Winnebago Man.
So it went viral 8 years ago about the guy showing the Winnebagos and he couldn't get the lines, so he kept just yelling obscenities, and that's just one of my... Anyway, you see someone that would much more just be throwing out beep, beep. I can't even remember what my goddamn last name is. Was it a Cognatine? How did I say it? I said Coma Ream with an R? That's not... Coma what? Oh, go fuck yourselves. You heard it wrong. There's so many of those.
There's a comb over a teen? Who writes this shit?
This is a typo. So we just want to help with your next series. Feel free to invite us. We'll just be sitting in the corner laughing, mostly enjoying our time, taking notes.
Now, there's something that I think, John, and I think Kevin and I have discussed this a little bit beforehand, but there was something that you wanted to tell our audience. And I thought this would be a good time for maybe you to, I don't know, it seems like there's something cool you're trying to do here.
Oh, that I might potentially be trying to offer a code of sorts to your listeners as a thank you for stopping by and hearing some amazing comedy with two talented individuals.
This is just, it's Christmas here right in July is what I'm starting to feel. Go on.
Well, thank you. But yeah. So basically with this website and how we're running things, it's really easy to make coupon codes for this. So as Kevin was saying, when you go to the website and you click get the Comatine, from there it's going to take you to the next page where it has a picture of my face, and then right underneath it's the price. You click the price icon, and then you'll get a cart that shows up in the top right hand of the screen. So you go ahead and you click that checkout button there, and then that'll take you to the final page, and there's going to be a space right in the top left where you'd enter a coupon code. And I have decided to give your viewers a code that they could take down, verbal tap 15, which would give them 15% off their purchase. And hopefully they can really enjoy what we've been talking about. I'd love to have a chance to get them to take a look and see if I can back up when I'm trying to sell them here. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I do. Just the last part sounds a little bit like you're a cocaine dealer, but
is there a John Combs rolling survivor discount that I get after some of the neck adjustments? Because there's a lot of people in Colorado that wouldn't mind the survivor discount.
No shit.
Keeping afloat with John Combs. Studied. That's really nice of you. It's an extremely sweet offering. And in honor of it being Shark Week, if I may, I thought about this as I was watching this before we got on the podcast. I was like, what type of shark is John Combs? I settled on bull shark. Anyone else? Bull sharks, it's about the bite, and they attack from different angles. So whereas the Mako is pure, it's the speed, and it's weird looking. Great white, a little beefier, a little more of a heavyweight division than the man John Combs. So that's
bull shark. I like it.
I'm a bull shark because you just kind of grip on.
Yeah.
I know again that we alluded to this and we didn't really go too much further into it, but there was a conversation that happened at the very top of this podcast that may or may not have addressed who smoked more today. And at this point, I thought I knew, and I don't know who it was more. So I don't know if it's Kevin. I don't know if it's John. But
I did one of my happy espressos. You take 50 milligrams of an espresso chocolate. You drop it in a hot coffee. You just give it a nice turnaround melt. It just eases the pain. Keeps the day bright.
Well, let's make everybody
Shaq on Shark Week and enjoy yourself tremendously.
Especially when Shaq's probably just being like, "We got a big old shark here."
That is
correct.
I
love this big old shark.
That is mostly what happened.
You know what it is? The shark is like the Shaq Diesel of sharks.
It was that.
I'm gonna call this what?
It was that. The phrase. I'm not doing that.
Well, okay, you're talking about lifting people's spirits and making a brighter day. I want to be the one to break the news to our Verbal Tap listeners. Jonathan was nice enough to give you guys the promotional code. But what if I were to tell you this, guys? What if I were to tell you right now on this show, we are going to have a drive to actually give away one free copy of the Comatine to one of our avid listeners.
Mind blown.
And you know what? Kevin still hasn't received it, so I know Kevin's going to be entering the contest.
Yeah, right. I was halfway through seeing if the discount already worked. I'm on the site. I was like, I got to pay Val.
So Kevin's waiting with due diligence to find out if he is one of the individuals who not only can make a dream come true for himself, but learn the Comatine. So if you guys to Verbal Cap. Oh, God, I'm doing this terribly. If you go to verbaltapcast.com, shut up, Kevin. verbaltapcast.com right this second. We have a form you fill out, and we're going to pick one of those people in a very, very short amount of time. And you will learn the secrets. And I can tell you guys this. I have seen previews of this. I have seen the way that John has slaved away at this instructional. It is good. And I have been quietly trying it out on some of my team members who themselves have been asking them, like, hey, Raph, where is this coming from? why are you attacking gay teens now? And I was just like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. And they just go, you 100% know that this is something you don't normally do. So I just thought that would be something of note for you guys who are interested in doing the Comatine. So go to verbaltapcast.com and you guys can go ahead and sign up, and we'll be giving away one soon. And John, we want to thank you for that because it's a nice way of giving back to our fans.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You guys have been supporting me for a long time, so I definitely appreciate what you guys do, man. You're two funny guys, and you've definitely done a lot to try and push me in the right direction, so I really appreciate that.
Of course. I mean, you've done a lot to hurt both of us, so, I mean.
Fights giants. You're always fighting huge people. It's a blast, and you bring the energy from the sub for a while, so you're always fun to watch and less fun to roll with. I mean, if I'm being honest, but I've said that anytime you roll with high-level black belts, like I always feel this way when I go to Kansas City and get a Travis Conley session in. It's always like, fucking god damn it, ow. Like, you just forget. So it's always a nice reminder, though, too, on, what the top of the mountain looks like. Sir, any last plugs for you before we get you to burrito heaven before the bell rings and you turn into a pumpkin?
Yes.
I got the website. I'll even put it in
awesome.
the description.
Yeah, we got the website out there.
Yeah.
And then I guess, what I would drop is I've been studying, 3 different other DVD products that I've been studying a whole bunch lately. Those 3 would be Wagner Roach's 50-50 of the Arms. That's been a really good Kimura series. Craig Jones's Heel Hooks Down Under. And, of course, Professor Danaher's Enter the System DVD on heel hooks. I've been studying those 3 products a lot, but I would like people, I'd encourage them to seek those products out, but, add me onto your list of potential studies. I think, I have something to offer there, and there's a lot of good stuff out there. I'd suggest those 3.
We'll do yours first, and then go get everybody else's, right?
The name of Craig Jones? Why does Craig sound like a pornographic one?
I mean...
Under the System? Gross.
Craig actually never took our advice. We tried to name the DVD. We asked people to send in ones, and we were like, here you go. And we gave it to him, and he's like, Nate, these are great. And then all of a sudden he goes with Down Under Leg Locks, and I go,
Down Under Leg Locks. Yeah, it's like that Vegas. Never mind.
Well,
I don't want a Down Under Leg Lock. I'm going to say it publicly. I want to keep him above bar.
Of course. And I want to make sure that people know. So here's what we're going to do. I'll be using the system for about a couple weeks. And then I think John and I are going to reconvene, and we're going to do like a little Skype video session. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. And, I'll try and get some footage of me trying to hit it on people, and we can compare it to some of the footage that John has on his Comatine, because I'm telling you guys, when people are threatened a little bit and I'm using it, that's when I'm like, ooh, what if somebody's actually good and uses this? So,
yeah, absolutely.
That's what I think we're going to do. All right, John, thank you so much. Where can people follow you? Where can they go to the website again? And what is the promotional code?
All right, my Instagram is @Combs, COMBS, Jiu-Jitsu, all lowercase, all one word. And then my website, where you can get the Comatine, is johncombsbjj.com. So there's no www. It's just straight up johncombsbjj.com. And that's, that's the 2 things I want to plug. So I definitely really appreciate you guys having me on. It's great to get a chance to talk to some folks. And, I had a lot of fun talking with you guys, and looking forward to getting on your show again sometime soon.
Justin Bieber of Colorado Jiu-Jitsu, ladies and gentlemen.
And if we're being quite honest, your rebooking of coming on our show depends on how badly you beat up me and Kevin in the future. So, that's really on you.
Believe me, Ralph, as soon as I get back to California, I will beat you up and then show you what I did to you. So I'll see you in a bit, buddy.
Thanks,
and Kev,
man.
I'll be by Jubair's here in a sec too, as well, brother.
Okay.
Well, are you back to training?
Not yet. No.
Come on. When are you going to get back?
About a month. A month of hot yoga,
A month?
and I'll be in.
Yeah.
Just gotta get.
All right, hot yoga and ice baths, right?
I swear to God, I'm looking for a steroid doctor as we speak. Give me whatever you gave Peyton Manning for those 2 years.
Want that new fire? Yeah, absolutely.
Verbal Tap Fans, Tony
awesome.
Combs.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
all they have to do is put the code verbal tap in.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Well, verbal tap 15.
Verbal tap 15, excuse me. Verbal
There you
tap 15, you get 15% off of an already great deal.
Yes.
Great deal. Wow. And somehow you, and I assume you did this because of blackmail from some sort of text he sent drunk at 3 a.m. about beating you a certain way. Got another free set out, but he's going to give one away just to be nice.
Yeah, cool. I mean, listen, I didn't do anything other than, hey, John, give me this or else. And I used like my really assertive, angry voice.
So he knew you meant business?
No, he did. He definitely did. You know, my voice is when it drops a couple levels. That's when I'm really angry.
It's business time.
That's when it's business time. So, anyway, no, I mean, I'm very excited. Kev, I want you to see it as well. I told him I'm going to illegally stream it for you, and he's like, I can't do anything against it. So, I'll show it to you. I feel like you will enjoy so many of the techniques from there. But again, go sign up for our contest because we have the giveaway for verbal-tap-cast.com. So
much going on here at the Verbal Tap Cast HQ. And that's, I mean, we're all done for tonight.
Yeah.
We've talked about all our stuff. I have just done, I think, an overwhelming job to convince the producers of Shark Week. We should write in. We should write and be like, hey, we're professional jiu-jitsu commentators. And I don't even think they'll question it. I think they'll be like, yeah, sounds right. Let's get them on the after hours. Who gives a shit? Wednesday, we got plenty of time, right? Yeah, it's the 31st anniversary. So next year, look for Verbal Tap on Shark Week. Let's do some shout-outs. Raph, I will start. Went to Ohana, the yoga bar facility, and did a hot yoga session. Not like, so I did the hot yoga from Bikram, not like once upon a time. 90 minutes, horrible. One of the meanest little spider instructors I've ever experienced who was like, don't drink water. Water isn't good until 40 minutes. You need to let your body adapt. It was like,
yeah, I've heard this too.
I'm going to die. This was the exact opposite awesome parts of that. 80 to 90 degrees. It gets warmer, cools off again. 60-minute vinyasa flow. Had a lot of the yoga for BJJ elements, so I really enjoyed that. Got my ass kicked, and it's amazing how much, like, it was a good reminder. It was like, I need to keep doing this because of how much this is uncomfortable. And if this is uncomfortable, yoga with pressure is going to be extremely uncomfortable, a.k.a. jiu-jitsu. So I told you I was going to counter all your wrestling bullshit by becoming a shaman, and I can't get behind magic, Raph. I just don't have the time. Or really to study that kind of Eastern medicine. So yoga it is. Look out, bitches. And it was just it was a fantastic class. And I'm so weak. I'll be back. I will be back. And that is it for me in the shout-outs. Rafa.
Let's go ahead and start by shouting out everybody at Jiu-Jitsu in the Park. It was a great event. I love always going to this because you see the best of the community come over, and a lot of the people don't always necessarily get the opportunity to train with other individuals, so it is nice when you see when they say no politics, they mean it. And I sincerely feel like whenever they put it together, they really try to put together a fantastic opportunity for the whole community to come together. So having said that, let's go ahead and shout out the Los Angeles Jiu-Jitsu Club.
LAJJ.
So amongst the things that you might have seen, obviously there's the interview with Mike Padilla that is up on our Facebook page now. And there's also another interview that I did with one Eric Medina. Now, Eric is going to be competing over
Kazakhstan.
In one of the stands, Kev, I was going to say. I didn't know which one it was.
I saw it and I was like, where's he going?
Yeah.
Kazakhstan. Awesome. All right.
Yeah, he will be representing the United States of America, and he will be with a team of monsters like Steven Martinez, Edmund Kim, Josh Baez, Luis Quinones, like just an amalgamation. They look right now as they're training like Power Rangers, but I assure you, they are going to be phenomenal when they get on over there. So Eric heads out on Wednesday. We wish him the best. We had a great interview asking him about the experience and what he can learn to expect from it and all that good stuff. So look for that as well. We've also got plenty of interviews pumping out on our YouTube page. But this gets me back to my point. LA Jiu-Jitsu Club, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m., and just Tuesday this week. Eric is going to be gone on Thursday competing, so no training over there at 11:30 on the Tuesday, or on Thursday, but on Tuesday, 11:30. And then for Valley Martial Arts Center, big shout out to them. And had some great training over that way with my good friend Kyle, who at one point looked at me and was deathly afraid that he broke me when we were training. I was like, Kyle, you have to understand one thing. I'm just super durable. I'm fine. And so he sent me a follow-up message today being like, you okay? You're all right? I was like, I'm fine. So I appreciate the concern, but it's one of those things. That's how you know you have good training partners, when they send the follow-up of like, are you good? I feel really bad. I was like, don't. So anyway, I'm going to actually be in Vegas this week. So I'm going to make a couple drop-ins. I'm going to be training with some folks on that out that way. If you guys are in town, feel free to, shoot a note, try to come over and train. I'll be training in the mornings over with our good friends over in 10th Planet, all that good sort of stuff. So if you're around, that'd be great. Love to see you guys. If not, I'm really not going to lose any sleep. But, it'd be nice if you're around. And I look forward to having a nice little mini vacation out that way. So I think that is going to do it for my shout-outs this week.
Hey, that'll do it for us tonight here at Verbal Tap. I am Kevin. Thank you for listening.
Good night and good fight, you guys.
Tried to watch the Cake Show.
Yeah.
With Johnny Weir.
Yeah. It's too much?
Go back to Shark Week.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note, the new number is...